Second round of the tournament, and this game was a roller coaster. My opponent is a retired candidate national master, he is still a pretty scrum player, and I'm playing as black. He decided to play c4. Now, against the English is not that I'm super prepared, although after you play e6, I would say e6 is pretty much a way to avoid a lot of English lines, because a lot of time they are just going to play d4 and transpose into a queen's gambit declined. Or instead of doing that, you could play b3, but then I'm going to play d4 and then to play for d4. So d5 and play for d4. And usually as black, you have a pretty good position. So e6 is a great move against the English. And my opponent played g3. So trying to go for the Catalan, and there is a problem, because before this tournament I studied lines against the Catalan. I studied a lot against the Catalan. The problem is that the move order is important. What I studied is, let's say you play this, d4, d5, c4, e6, you play g3 now, knight f6, and let's say bishop g2 is fine, but even knight f3 maybe. Okay, so let's go back, knight f3, knight f6, you play g3 now, okay, and now I can give a check. So I'm going to play against the Catalan in this way, and I studied a few lines. Instead of doing that, there is also another move order, where instead of playing c4, you could play, for example, knight on f3, knight on f6, g3, so you try to go for the Catalan, but you still have to play the move c4. So at this point I can play, for example, e6, knight g2, and now the way to punish this, since you haven't played c4, is playing b5. So I was even kinda prepared for this. I forgot there was a third move order, where instead of not playing c4, you can decide not to play d4. That's the point. So I played d5 and now knight on g2. So my opponent is trying to go for the Catalan, but I can't go for the line bishop b4 because there is still a pawn on d2. This is the problem. And now knight on f6 and knight on f3. The way to punish this, since they haven't played d4 now, is to play c5 and go for d4. I could even play d4 now, which is a pretty good move, although I wasn't sure about that because I don't know the theory in this line, absolutely zero. So c5. Now I have to say something. If you don't know the theory in a classical game, you shouldn't go for aggressive play. The problem with aggressive play is that if you don't know theory, you get absolutely demolished. That's why you should play more solid stuff. So for example, c6 would have been a valuable option. But yeah, c5, he decided to take, which I don't know. Okay, it is the best move. I decided to take, and now d4. Knight on c6. So for now I'm playing decently. Short castle, and now don't play too aggressive. Because if you don't know theory and you play a stupid move like queen on b6, you're going to get destroyed. What is the problem with queen on b6? The problem is that, the plan behind this is that if you take, I'm going to take with the bishop, so I develop a piece, putting pressure, and I'm going to castle. This plan is wrong. You can take it, bishop takes, knight c3. This pawn is under attack, and is threatening knight on a4. Now, apparently, I'm supposed to castle, giving away the pawn, although I didn't want to do that. So, instead of going for this, I was like, well, what if I, after knight on c3, face this move with queen on a5, which is stupid once again. What is the point? Is that, well, if you play knight on a4, I'm going to move somewhere, and if you take the pawn, you actually lose. So this was my idea. What if you play knight d2? I missed it. I miss knight d2 completely. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe it's not so easy to see this, but this is a stupid configuration, so there has to be a way to punish it. This is the way. Knight d2, threatening knight b3. This is still under attack. So let's say I play something like, I don't even know. Maybe queen d8, but queen d8 there is knight b3. This pawn still falls. Yeah, it is a terrible position. So what I played was bishop on e6, which is even worse. What is the point of bishop on e6? Well, the point is not so dumb if your opponent falls for the trap. So the point of bishop on e6 is that after you play knight on b3, and I play queen on b4, first of all, let's say you play a3, I have queen on c4, so you don't win the bishop. After this happens, this pawn is hanging. And if you take it, you kind of fall for my trap. In this position, although, and I saw this after I played queen on b4, there is bishop d2. And bishop d2 is over. Like is plus 3.6, might be even more. It is just over. You are threatening this discovery. Let's say I play queen c4. Rook c1. And I tell you something. My opponent has developed every piece. And this is like my 20th queen move. Which is not good, you know. This is lost, dead lost. So bishop d2 wins. Was like, well, if he plays bishop d2, I might even resign. This is terrible. The opening went super terrible. He fell for the trap. He took the pawn on d5. And why I'm saying this is a trap? First of all, let's say I take with the knight. There is bishop take. I would like to play rook d8 pinning the bishop, although you can take with check. That's the problem. So it's not really pinned. The idea was that if I take with the bishop instead, and then you take with the bishop, I can play long castle. So now your bishop is pinned. Because if you take, it doesn't come with check, and if you play bishop on e6, I just take it. The problem with long castle is that, well, after you play e4, which is pretty much the only move, I thought, this is coming. I mean, if you take, and you can take, this comes, you lose the knight, GG. So this pawn seems weak, but there isn't too much you can do. Also, I didn't want to play the move rook on e8, because there is just this. Bishop f4. Okay, maybe this tactic works now, but let's say I play bishop d2 first. Queen b6. Bishop f4. Well, it still doesn't work because there is rook take. Okay, but there has to be something wrong with this move. Is bishop d2, queen b6, knight takes c5, queen take rook c1, queen b6. Oh, it is just bishop b3. Okay, that's why the move I played doesn't make any sense, because it is not even necessary. I decided to play king b8 instead, because I was like, well, if he plays this, my king can't run away, so I'm also avoiding any sort of pin. So I thought it was a pretty clever move. It is losing. I mean, all this game is losing. Queen d2, bishop d2 attacks the queen. Queen b6 only move. If you play queen b5, a4, GG. You lose the bishop. Because there is this. Well, I told you were losing the bishop, but I mean, rook c1, GG. It's over anyway. So, queen b6, knight take, rook c1. Apparently this wasn't super precise. Rook c1 was better. No, it is precise, but Stockfish needs some time. Okay, take, rook c1, queen b6. Yeah, if you let him think, it's +6, is definitely over. Okay, you do now. There is bishop take on c6. And I thought about this move. Take, I guess you play something like, yeah, rook c4. It's not hard to win this position. And if you play bishop on e3, which is imprecise but is still pretty good, I can play queen on b4. I thought it was a decent move. What is the purpose of queen on b4? Is preventing this. If you play this, I'm going to take. If you play this, I'm going to take. The third idea is that I could play queen on e7. But I mean, e3. Queen on e7 is playable. I decided to take because I was like, you know what? I'm dead lost. I'm going to lose anyway. Let's at least see if my opponent calculated well and saw the right tactic. So I decided to take. The fact is that I didn't even see the way for him to win. I saw him a bit after this. I knew I was completely lost, even if I didn't see it, because you take opening this, it's over. Again, I just decided to do that because I lose anyway. Let's risk it even more. My opponent might make a mistake. So the way to win this is queen a4. Queen a4, I can resign. Let's say I take this, and I take. GG. You block, check, I win the rook. You don't block, you win this rook. Pretty simple. Yeah, I saw this line a bit after that. Rook b1. My opponent missed it, although he's still +7. At this point, I mean, I risked with queen on b2, why not to take on e3? So now I'm up a pawn. I'm up a pawn, is +8, but at least I'm up a pawn, so what can I say, is fine. Kinda fine. At this point, I think I saw a crazy tactic, yeah. And this video is called the way it's called because there could have been so many tactics in this game. You don't even understand how crazy this game was. I mean, at least from my opponent's side. From my side, it is just a slaughter. So there is rook take on b7, which I saw. I didn't think it was winning though. I saw this. It works, okay, fine. It kinda works. Bishop take on c6. The queen is hanging. That's true. Let's take the queen. Rook take on b7. I can't go on a8. Yeah, he's mate. King c8. Rook take. And as you can see, how are you going to save the king? It's pretty much impossible. So you give away the queen, but you just get mated. I mean, it's over. You can play rook d8. Now there is rook d on b1, GG. You could even take. You're going to get absolutely destroyed. So yeah, this move worked. Another move that works even better is rook take on b7. King take. Queen b1. I try to go away. King c7. Bishop f4. Rook d6. Rook c1. No need to see anything else. This is over. Although I didn't see all of this stuff. I saw this, I was like, well, I figured it out. And I mean, like, there isn't too much I can do, honestly. And he played rook on a1, so he missed once again. He played rook on a1. Although the idea of rook on a1 is not like super strong, because taking on a7, even if I move, doesn't work. So I don't know why he decided to go for this. So I was like, okay, let's play queen on e7. Now, queen on b3 wins. Even queen on f3, pretty much everything wins. Now it's zeros. So the idea of this move was actually taking on a7. But I saw this wasn't working, and I saw why. We take with the knight. Let's say you take, well, you can take this way? No, I think you can. I actually think you can. Jesus. Yeah, I miss these. Of course. But if you take, apparently, I can take first and then win the rook. Okay. And if you play queen on a4, looks like I'm on the verge of getting mated, which is the move my opponent played. He missed. From the distance, I guess, b5. b5 does two things. Your queen is under attack, my knight is defended. And now it's over. All of the sudden, it's over for me. I mean, I am winning. All of the sudden, I am winning. It was +8 for all the game. The rook goes on b1, winning the pawn. Let's take this bishop. This bishop was a must. Don't want to see the bishop anymore. Now, if you take rook take, I'm super defended. I calculated pretty much everything in this line. I was really focused. You decided to play rook take on b5, and I saw why it didn't work. And we played all the line. You can take the knight too, the rook. Now, if you take with the queen, there is queen b7. If you played, okay, GG. If you don't, I save the knight. If you play queen on a8, looks like I'm on the verge of getting mated, but there is king on c7. This doesn't work. Well, this doesn't work. Take. I get away with something. And if you give me a check, my opponent also missed this move. I can just block with the knight. The knight is safe. You can take it, okay, no one cares. For example, you could play this. No, wait. No. Oh, yeah. You could play this. It's over anyway. I just play this, for example. I block everything. And yeah, I play this move. My opponent give the check. King on b8. Check. Queen on b7 blocks everything. And my opponent resigned. So, what can I say about this game? It was terrible. It was such a terrible game. Terrible opening, terrible middle game. Well, you see how important opening is, because if you know opening, if you know the plans in the opening, you're not going to get destroyed in the opening. And I really thought I studied everything against the Catalan. I forgot there was this move over there too. So I'm going to study this move over there. So maybe finally I'm going to be prepared. Maybe. So yeah, opening terrible, middle game terrible because of the fact that I didn't know plans. Overall, I calculated not that well, but not even that bad. I out-calculated my opponent, I would say, but yeah, 300 ways to win. So yeah, it's not a game to be proud of, but it was a pretty fun one. So yeah, I won this game. I'm 1 out of 2. The next game I'm going to play against a guy who is rated almost 2000. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So see you soon with the third round.